Hello, I'm Bill Butler, and I've been blacklisted by several companies, and this is what happened to me. I was dismissed from Compuware Professional Services, which is a contract agency at the Chrysler Corporation, in October '98 in Michigan. I moved back to Massachusetts to obtain a job as a mechanical engineer. 136 applications, 8 interviews with no success. My first interview was with a company I worked before I went to Michigan for 9 years. They stated I had no technical background, so no job. After another unsuccessful interview, I hired a private investigator to determine what was being said about me. That was just it. Chrysler, Compuware, and Compuware's division of professional services all stated they had no record of my employment. I have filed a case in Michigan Circuit Court, and Chrysler responded, I did work for them. The other said nothing. I was able to place the story in the local newspaper, and it yielded the same results as my private investigator report did. The case was filed in court with a lawyer in Oakland County Court. The judge remanded it to district court due to a low mediation value. The district court judge moved it back to the circuit court, and then the judge dismissed it after 2 years, stating that my prospective employers would have gotten a different story than my private investigator and newspaper reporter. Also, a witness stated that she never called. Phone records indicate that she did. Lied under oath, and the judge said, we don't know if she got through or who she talked to, and it ended there. I appealed it in the Michigan Court of Appeals. After a 1.5 year wait, 3 judges said I didn't provide any evidence to support my case. They did not even address the issue of my private investigator report and newspaper report were admissible. They simply chose to say nothing and dismiss it. The Supreme Court in Michigan granted me immediate consideration the very day they got my paperwork. 22 days later, they dismissed it, stating that they felt this court should not address my questions. I went to federal court and was granted a hearing. I told the judge my case, and everything I said in her court was left off her report, and she recommended dismissing the case. It was done. I filed a complaint in judicial misconduct with the circuit executive. He worked with the chief judge, and the chief judge dismissed the complaint. I went on to the judicial council, and how it works is each member judge gets a copy of my complaint, and if at least one says there was a misconduct, then they discuss it in the next meeting. A month later, I received a letter from the judicial council stating all members present ruled no misconduct. What happened to the judge that agreed with me? Was he or she even at the meeting? The Federal Court of Appeals on the 6th Circuit and the Supreme Court denies me. I came back to Massachusetts and filed a case in federal court in Boston. They dismissed it due to an error on my part, failing to file a motion to oppose the defense motion to dismiss. I immediately filed it. They treated it as a motion to reconsider and dismissed it. I contacted the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston to see if they would file a criminal case against them. The very same day, I dropped off my paperwork. She returned it, stating that she could not help because they didn't break any federal law. I researched it and found that they broke a federal law, part of the Fair Labor Standards Act, which states they must keep my record for 2 years. My investigator's report dated 13 months after my dismissal. I filed another complaint with the U.S. Attorney's Office. They responded, go away and don't come back. I also contacted via fax the EOUSA in Washington, D.C. That's the executive offices of the U.S. Attorney. They had my fax for 2 weeks, 3 faxes, and no response. The politicians refused to help also. Kennedy, Kerry, Markey. I worked with Markey's aide to find a letter I faxed to the President of the United States. She could not find the letter, the fax number, the office that had the fax number. She even refused to compose a new letter to the president. In conclusion, why are Chrysler Compuware and Combustion components allowed to destroy my life, not to mention any family I might have had a chance to establish in the last 10 years? And the courts allow them to get away with it. I've lost everything I've ever had. No way to recover it since no one will hire me due to this injustice and a lengthy court battle. Am I to live the rest of my life in the woods or in some cold back alley hiding from whatever? Will I ever get justice in the case? I thought the public should know about this case before they buy their next new car, or if anyone is considering getting a job from these companies. Thank you for your time. For more details, see my website at geocities.com/BillButler921/. And if you want to have comments, you can email me at BillButler921 @yahoo.com. Thank you for your time.